Hello, everybody, and welcome to Reviews from Hell. I am your host, AJ, and joined by me, as always, is my co-host, Steve Wandling. And today we're going to be talking about the new thriller horror movie called Hellbender, which is now streaming on Shudder and AMC Plus. And I really enjoyed this, but Steve, I want to go to you first. And what did you think of Hellbender?
Oh man, it's awesome! It's the new they are the Adams family films, and it has this just really cool homespun vibe. If you're not familiar with them, it's John Adams directs these movies.
These things.
Yeah, it's his family, it's his daughter, it's his
Yeah, it's all
partner.
in house, so to
Yeah,
speak.
all in house, and they come up with these movies themselves. They shoot these movies on their own budget. It is very much an indie film, and I've seen this one, and I've seen The Deeper You Dig.
Yeah, which is
And
also fantastic. Yeah.
It's fantastic. I got to tell you, this was I know it was like my girlfriend's. It was like one of her favorite movies of the year, period, in any genre. And I mean, I thought it was awesome too, but I know that she just said that she loved it, and so we were both excited about Hellbender. And man, it's really cool. Like it is so awesome. Like the I love the music. Like I would love to have a soundtrack, those songs on vinyl.
And I think what John Adams told me is something like that is in the works. So hopefully
I will be first in line. I'll keep my eye on that. And I mean, he seems like, and it helps that he seems like a really cool guy as well. But I mean, just
very accessible too.
Yeah, but the movie has this just like kind of like I said, it has this like homespun. It has elements of folklore to it. I
guess paganism as well too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's chock full of paganism, chock full of witchy goodness, and just witchy badassery, and the pacing of this thing is really cool too. Like it starts very intimate. It starts in a very indie space. It
kind of feels like a slow burn, just kind of gradually evolving into something bigger and bolder too.
It's a coming of age story. It's about a girl becoming a woman. It's about a mother and a daughter. It is about the idea of like seasons eating themselves. So there's a time for everything and everyone, and you will possibly get usurped by who's coming up behind you, and be ready for it. And and it does all this in like 82 minutes. And
and that's the surprising thing. And sometimes you want just a little bit more, but it does that fine line, walking, not overstaying its welcome as well.
Yeah, I know a lot of movies are going, especially like when we go out to the movies, like, I just saw the Batman. I love the Batman. It was 3 hours long, and I've seen a lot of movies at the multiplex, recently, and a lot of them seemed long. And so anytime I see a movie that is 80, 85, 90 minutes, something like that, and it doesn't feel rushed, and it feels just as organic as the 3 hour The Batman movie. Because it takes its time, and that's a testament to, I think, the good writing, is just knowing how to pace this kind of thing. And it creates a whole kind of, it feels like it's one of those movies that this may seem like a kind of stock thing to say, but I really felt watching this movie, especially for the type of kind of smaller budgeted film that it is, homespun kind of film that it is, it really does create a whole mythology that feels wholly kind of its own spin on a lot of kind of like, it has some familiar feeling kind of folk horror motifs and imagery, but it also feels totally of them. Like it feels like their version.
It feels like their own thing, yeah.
Which is, I'm sure, the point, and at least partially the point is because just the way that they make movies is awesome. And and those songs, like I said, that I can't stress that enough, how cool there's the mother and daughter. Also, the daughter doesn't leave the house because the setup is that she and this was made during the pandemic as well, which is very important to mention
But it's
because
almost like a Munchausen syndrome kind
yeah,
of vibe going
it
on.
plays into that without spoiling anything too much, but it definitely plays into Munchausen by proxy and just how relationships change between mothers and daughters and parents and their
Like you were
children.
saying this before when we tried to do this episode before, you were like the sins of my father, but it was like the sins of my mother vibe going on through this.
Yeah. Well, there's all that kind of stuff, like like what can a child be held accountable for, and it just in terms of the choices that a parent makes, that it just the road to hell. That old saying, "The road to hell is paved with good intentions," comes into play in a lot of the mothers. Just the decisions that she made in how she wanted to raise her daughter, that may or may not come back to cause her, some kind of woe. I don't want to give anything away because I want people to go watch it. It's on Shudder. Mention that too, and I think you watch that. You watch The Deeper You Dig. Watch them both.
Watch them back to back if you want.
Yeah, just do a double feature.
The Deeper You Dig is probably.
Sorry, what?
I think The Deeper You Dig is probably only about like an hour 40 at most.
Yeah, I don't think it's much longer at all. And even if it is, it doesn't feel it. It feels exactly what it should be. These are really tight films. Like there's not a second wasted. Like there's a looseness to it, as in it all feels kind of wild, and it is not of a studio system, surely, and it is auteur. It feels auteur. And like now, I want I would rock an Adams Family Films T-shirt. Just that says,
I kind of want that too. Like
I want to see what they're doing. They are on a list of names of mine. If I hear a project, I'm like, what?
Up and coming?
Huh?
What do you consider them up and coming now? Or
they are. Yeah, I mean, I think
they're kind of on the fringe right now, but they still are.
Yeah, I mean, their movies go where they're one of a list of filmmakers that if I hear they're doing something, I want to see it immediately.
I'm instantly interested in it. Yeah.
So the more people that will see their stuff, like the better. I mean, it's just I think that and it could be. There's some really cool imagery in this movie. I don't want to, like the hand stuff with the key. I just love the way it looked. I'd never seen anything like that before, and it felt like something like that you would have in a dream that you couldn't really
like
quite.
A fever dream kind of.
Yeah. It just had this kind of like feeling of, I don't know. It's almost kind of Lewis Carroll-esque. Like it was just like fantastic. It was very
almost
cool.
like this Alice in Wonderland kind of.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
With the visions too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, it's and it's I'd say you walk away feeling all kinds of different things from it too. But it is like, and that opening is nuts. Like the opening of it, like I was hooked right away. Like I was just so and it's the opening is like kind of the most just slaps you in the face right off the bat, and then okay, we're gonna go hang out.
Yeah, it kind of grabs you by the balls and chains, so to speak.
Sure, yeah, definitely. It's hardcore. Yeah, it's definitely cool. But yeah, it's just really cool. They are a family. They are a collective. So yeah, it's just really cool to see.
And their daughter Zelda in this was just amazing too. I want to see if she's been in anything else, but I think she may have been in The Deeper You Dig. But Zelda Adams was fantastic in Hellbender as well.
Yeah, they were all really cool, and I think that there was another girl named Lulu Adams who played the blonde girl that was her friend, and I couldn't help but wonder if maybe she's also, I mean, it's not much of a stretch to think. Yeah, but like, so yeah, but I don't know that for sure. But no, everybody in the movie, their performances are really cool. Like, yeah, she's the So yeah, it really works, and you can tell that they all they just seem to really enjoy working with each other, which is always fun to see. Like, I can always get behind that. So yeah, I'm always.
think the cinematography and the color grading of this film really stood out as well.
It's really pretty. It's really pretty, and especially right now where we just had like the spring equinox, it's a good time to watch folk horror right now. I try to do like the Wicker Man every once a year around this time. But anything folk horror, if you've got your Woodlands Deep and Days Bewitched, that title, that box set, you can watch.
I still need to go back on that box set.
I blazed through like 6 of the movies and their extras, and I haven't watched the other 4.
I did the exact same thing.
Yeah, well, because there's hours and hours.
I got burned out on it really fast.
Yeah, I hear you, but but Hellbender it's streaming right now. I mean, so it's a good time to watch it on Shudder. I'm guessing it will be there for the foreseeable future. A lot of stuff seems to stick around. Newer stuff that goes there seems to stick around. That may have been the Shudder original. No. That's a Yellow Veil. It's a Yellow Veil Pictures, which I love.
Yeah, but it's like distributed by Shudder. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's another thing. Yellow Veil Pictures is probably one of my favorite.
I love that logo too.
Yeah, I love the logo, and they're probably one of my favorite production companies out right now.
For sure. Yeah, they're awesome. Yeah, definitely. That's it. Yeah.
Because they're probably even a more independent version of A24 is Yellow Veil Pictures, I think.
Yeah, and they've got that badass Giallo logo,
which is really cool.
Yeah.
And one of the things I wanted to talk about Hellbender is how they use the music in the film too. It kind of reminded me of a DIY Lords of Salem as well, with the the band and everything in that film.
Oh yeah, it does have like this kind of it just adds a pulse to the film, and it really makes a lot of it come to life, and it's just cool. Like they're just, the songs are catchy and they're punky, and
it's no pun intended.
Girl. I mean,
it gives awesome. The film a rhythm. So,
yeah, it gives the film a rhythm. It gives it a pulse. It helps the pacing of it really well. And when you think about it, I mean, these songs, like a lot of them, they even say in the movies that she says, the daughter says short and heavy, like that's our motto or something like that. And they are very short. They're very catchy. They rock. And I would love to hear like a whole album's worth of material. I would listen to them make more songs that sounded like that, but I'm just a fan. It's good.
And Toby Poser, I think is her last.
That's the
mother. Yeah,
the mother. Yes,
she was fantastic in Hellbender as well, and she commanded the screen.
And the deeper you dig,
impressively much in Hellbender. She commanded every bit of dialogue she delivered, and was just.
Yeah, I could watch her do just about anything. She's awesome. Yeah, those are the only 2 times I've seen her. But she totally just kills it. Now I'm just thinking about the movie, all that stuff with like there's just so many little peculiar things in this movie that work really well, that just kind of lend into the homespunness of it all, like the way they eat they eat like basically like pine cones and like little twigs and berries that you find in the forest, and
like that even makes you think of paganism.
Yeah, definitely. It all links to all that kind of paganism, folklore. I mean, it is a folklore film, as I said already. I feel like I'm just like
repeating
I'm beating that folklore drum. But the performances are really human, from everybody involved, and that's why it works when it gets scary as it goes along, because this is a coming of age story, and it's what's coming of age, and that's where the horror may come in, and it is scary, and it does, but I do think the coming of age. And just the ideas of coming into womanhood and not being kind of hampered down by anyone trying to control you, and kind of leaning into whatever's in your nature. There's a lot of talk about nature, which I liked. all that just their nature kind of talk, that always will sell me. I think that's all very cool. But it's scary, and I thought and it goes there like just the way that it works. It's perfectly paced out, but by the time you get there, it's one of those kind of snap neck endings. Like you come flying into this movie, and you go flying out of it. Huh?
It kind of surprised me at the end that it really went where it did at the end.
Yeah, I like the ending. Yeah, it's good. And I just think that's the coolest effect. I see that effect in my head all the time. Now where she just sees the book on the little, like, it's like a chest, and there's like a hole in it, and she opens like a door. She like climbs in that hole, and it's like goes, and all of a sudden it's like this huge tunnel, that wasn't there before. So I think that kind of thing is obviously very, like, again, like kind of Lewis Carroll-esque. It's just fantasy or surreal. And it's disturbing. It kind of insinuates, it just leads to thinking of, it's exciting in one way because, we all remember things like Narnia where, like, that your wardrobe is a portal to another world. But also, like, that's terrifying because you're also maybe not safe in your own home, and what you thought was the real world isn't really the real world. Maybe
we're getting into this multiverse kind of thing too.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. It's been a long talk, but no, it's great. It's really cool. I don't know what else to even say about it except I wish.
It has so much viewing power to it too. Like, you can watch a movie once and kind of be done with it. But I saw it tonight on your Facebook page. You went back to visit it.
Yeah.
And I feel like I can watch it again because it's been a few weeks since I've watched it.
Yeah, this was only.
I feel like this is a movie you could easily revisit even after you watched it recently.
Oh, it totally is. Like, it wasn't that long ago. I feel like a few weeks ago that I watched it. And I went back and watched it tonight because I knew we were doing this, and I had just as good a time. And it's that second watch good time where you kind of see maybe how some stuff lines up that you didn't quite see how it all fit together in the script and stuff the first time around. And just like you get to know the mechanics of it a lot better. And yeah, it worked for me just as well the second time.
One thing I would really love is I would really love to read the screenplay of this just to see how they did on the visuals in the screenplay, because I think that would be really cool to see how they describe it in the script.
Yeah, you got a lot of stuff that is like, there's a lot of really powerful imagery in it. Like, there's a lot of different stuff. It gets kind of psychedelic. Like, it definitely goes in some like kind of psychedelic places, and some kind of there is a lot of occult kind of like for fans of just like occult symbolism in film and stuff like that. There's a lot of imagery like that, and a lot of just imagery that seems like an acid kind of fueled nightmare trip or something like that, so yeah, and those are just like little moments in the film that kind of accentuate certain moments or to try to drive home like certain ideas about certain characters or to fill in something. And but when you get back to, so yeah, all that kind of just like that, I guess those sequences also along with the music stuff all kind of like fill in the quieter moments with when it's all about that relationship and this kind of cat and mouse. I don't even, cat and mouse isn't the right term, but not cat and mouse, but there is a psychological warfare as the movie goes on, going on a little bit of gammon between the mother and the daughter. There is there's an attempt to control. There's an attempt to learn more.
Almost like the John Goodman 10 Cloverfield Lane kind of.
There's a bit of that in there. There's a unavoidable sense of like, well, this is going to have to eventually lead to conflict. Like there's these two forces are just going to have to oppose. Yeah, it's really cool. Like it's got all that kind of friction in it, and you're not exactly sure where it's going to go, and it will surprise you in that manner too. Like it really will.
And I know it's kind of still early in the year, but this is probably some of the best visuals in a horror movie we have so far this year. I haven't seen
Oh,
X
yeah.
yet, but
You haven't seen what yet?
I haven't seen X yet, but
Oh man, we got to do an episode on X when you see it. I'm gonna try to see it again. It's awesome. We'll talk about that another time. It's fantastic though.
yeah, but I think
It's
Hellbender,
Huh?
Hellbender is up there with the best visual effects in a horror
Oh, for
movie.
sure. And just knowing that it is like we've been saying, I hate to use the word homespun 3 times in like a half hour, but I've done it. But like they are more homespun. I mean, it's not. I don't want it to make it sound like it's like a home movie. It's not. I'm just saying that it is a smaller film, smaller budgeted film, and none of the sophistication in the visuals, in the effects, or in the makeup, or in the sets, or anything. None of that.
None of it felt constrained.
None of that felt shortchanged because of budget. Everybody's seen unfortunate circumstances where you'll be into a micro budgeted film or something, or a smaller budgeted film,
and you can really tell the damage the budget can do to it.
Yeah. And this does not just doesn't come across that way. All the effects actually are great. They all really, really work. There's a lot of really cool stuff that goes on in it. But it's not, at the end of the day, if the relationship between the mother and daughter, and just the whole coming of age thing, just is the center of this. It's the heart of it.
So what would you give the Hellbender, Steve?
Oh gosh, I wouldn't take any points off for anything in this, really. I mean, I'd say I would say. Is this a 5 out of 5 for me? I think maybe. I mean, 5 out of 5 is going really high, so maybe just because later I'll be like, wait a minute, I only give like 4 or 5s out of 5s ever. So maybe I'll just say like a 4.5 out of 5, 4.5 out of 5.
I think I'd agree in that 8.
Just to weigh it down.
I think I'd give it about a 4 out of 5 too, because there was really nothing wrong with it, but how many movies are you going to give 5 out of 5s for?
You're going to have to start. It's not even, it's almost like it's not fair to that. It's better to 4 out of 5, because when you see 4 out of 5, it's not a 3 out of 5. When you see a 3 out of 5, you think he's a good guy. That's probably really only a 2 out of 5.
Yeah. Like, did they grade this at a curve for this guy?
Yeah. Are they friends? No. Grade my friends harder. No, I don't. But I don't have it. Yeah. But 4 out of 5, 4.5 out of 5. It's awesome. It really works.
It is, yeah.
And you can dive in with 2 of their films are on Shudder. I need to see what else they have out there, if they have other stuff out there, and check it out, because both of those have been awesome. And I want more. Like I want more. I want them to go back to work now and make another movie.
Well, I think from what I've been talking with Toby and John, they're working on something right now. So hopefully we'll see something very soon.
Great. Hopefully there's an announcement soon. That would be awesome. Very cool.
All right, everybody. This has been Reviews from Hell. I hope you all enjoyed.
Absolutely. See ya.